Have you ever looked at someone in their late 60s who radiates vitality and wondered what their secret might be? Or perhaps you've noticed how some individuals seem to decline rapidly after retirement, while others thrive well into their 90s. The truth is, your body is already giving you clear signals about your potential longevity. These aren't mysterious genetic gifts that only a lucky few possess. They're measurable indicators that scientists have been studying for decades, and more importantly, factors that you can influence starting today. The fascinating reality is that your daily habits and physical capabilities are quietly writing the story of your future health, often in ways more powerful than your medical charts or family history. What makes this particularly compelling is that these predictors don't require expensive tests or specialist appointments to measure. They're hiding in plain sight in your everyday movements and choices. In this exploration, we'll uncover 7 research-backed predictors that can reveal your potential lifespan beyond 65. By the time we conclude, you'll have a clear understanding of where you currently stand and, perhaps more importantly, specific actions you can take to potentially add quality years to your life. These aren't quick fixes or miracle solutions, but rather proven patterns observed in individuals who maintain independence, cognitive clarity, and physical capability late into life. The beauty of these indicators is that they offer a roadmap, concrete, measurable signposts that can help you assess your current trajectory and make informed adjustments. Whether you're already past 65 or planning ahead for your future self, understanding these physical and lifestyle markers will empower you to make strategic choices that support extended vitality. The decisions you make today, even seemingly small ones, can dramatically influence your health landscape years and decades from now. Before we dive into these 7 critical indicators, I want to emphasize something important. Longevity isn't just about extending lifespan, it's about expanding health span, those years where you maintain independence, engagement, and quality of life. The goal isn't simply adding more years to your life, but adding more life to your years. Many people overlook subtle changes in their physical capabilities, dismissing them as just getting older, when in fact they're receiving early warnings that could be addressed with the right interventions. What's particularly encouraging about these 7 predictors is that most of them are modifiable, meaning you have significant control over them regardless of your current age or fitness level. Let's explore these powerful indicators and discover what they might reveal about your future. Predictor 1, lower body strength and rising power. One of the most revealing indicators of your longevity potential is something surprisingly simple: your ability to rise from a seated position without using your hands. This movement, which researchers call the sit-to-stand test, requires a complex coordination of strength, balance, and proprioception that becomes increasingly predictive of overall health as we age. Studies tracking adults over 65 have consistently found that those who can rise from a chair without pushing off with their hands tend to live significantly longer with fewer health complications than those who struggle with this basic movement. The mechanics behind this correlation are fascinating. When you stand from a seated position without assistance, you're demonstrating adequate lower body strength, stable joints, good balance, and effective neural control, all essential components of maintaining independence and preventing falls. Consider the contrast between Thomas and Michael, both 68-year-old retired accountants. Thomas has maintained an active lifestyle through gardening, neighborhood walks, and occasional swimming. When he sits in a chair, he can rise smoothly without pushing off the armrests, using primarily his leg strength. Michael, however, has gradually become more sedentary since retirement. When faced with standing from a deep sofa or dining chair, he instinctively pushes with his hands, often struggling and rocking forward to generate momentum. This difference might seem inconsequential, but it reflects significant disparities in their functional strength and neural coordination. Thomas's preserved capacity indicates maintained muscle mass, responsive fast-twitch muscle fibers, and effective brain-to-muscle communication pathways, all factors that protect against frailty, falls, and functional decline. Michael's difficulty rising suggests early sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and declining neuromuscular efficiency, which research has linked to increased hospitalization risk, longer recovery times, and shorter overall lifespan. The encouraging news is that this predictor is highly responsive to targeted exercise. Even individuals in their late 70s and beyond can significantly improve their rising power through consistency with simple progressive exercises. Start by practicing stand-ups from increasingly lower surfaces without hand assistance, gradually building strength and confidence. Add simple squat variations, stair climbing, or gentle leg presses if available. The key is consistency rather than intensity. Short daily practice yields better results than occasional strenuous sessions. Monitor your progress by noticing how your everyday movements become easier, rising from restaurant chairs, garden kneeling, or stepping into vehicles. These functional improvements translate directly to extended independence and reduced frailty risk. Challenge yourself right now. Find a standard height chair and attempt to stand without using your hands or lurching forward. How did you do? If it was challenging, don't be discouraged. This is valuable information that can guide your next steps. Remember that improving this capability doesn't require gym memberships or special equipment, just awareness and consistent practice. Predictor 2, respiratory capacity. Your breathing capacity serves as a remarkable window into your overall health and potential longevity. Respiration isn't just about oxygen intake. It reflects cardiovascular fitness, diaphragm strength, rib cage flexibility, and even neural control. Researchers have discovered that diminished lung function in adults over 65 correlates strongly with increased mortality risk from all causes, not just respiratory conditions. What makes this predictor particularly valuable is that it can reveal subclinical cardiovascular issues years before other symptoms appear. A simple measure called forced vital capacity, FVC, essentially how much air you can exhale after a deep breath, provides surprising insight into your biological age and longevity potential. Meet Elizabeth and Patricia, both 73-year-old retired teachers. Elizabeth has maintained her respiratory capacity through regular walking, proper posture, and occasional breathing exercises. When she speaks, her voice remains strong and clear, and she can easily climb several flights of stairs while continuing conversation. Patricia, despite appearing relatively healthy, finds herself pausing mid-sentence to catch her breath during excited conversations. She avoids second-floor activities when possible and has gradually reduced her speaking volume without realizing it. These subtle differences reflect significant disparities in their respiratory reserves. Elizabeth's maintained capacity indicates healthy lung tissue elasticity, effective gas exchange, and preserved diaphragmatic strength, all protective factors against respiratory infections and cardiovascular strain. Patricia's declining capacity suggests early airway narrowing, reduced pulmonary circulation, and potentially increasing cardiovascular demand, which research correlates with accelerated functional decline and shorter life expectancy. Isn't it fascinating to see you with us so far into this exploration? If you're finding these insights eye-opening, we'd love to hear which of these predictors surprised you most. Type breath in the comments if you're realizing how important respiratory capacity is to longevity, or strength if the sit-to-stand test resonated with your experience. Your engagement helps us create more content that matters to you, and sharing your thoughts connects you with others on similar journeys. If you're new here, consider subscribing and activating notifications. We're building a community dedicated to evidence-based longevity practices, and your voice would be a valuable addition to the conversation. Now let's explore our third predictor, which might completely change how you think about everyday movement. Predictor 3. Gait resilience and recovery. How quickly you recover your normal walking pattern after navigating an obstacle or experiencing a momentary balance disruption reveals volumes about your neurological health and fall risk. This capacity, which researchers call gait resilience, combines reaction time, proprioception, muscle coordination, and cognitive processing speed. Studies following adults over 65 have found that individuals who can quickly re-establish their normal walking pattern after a disruption demonstrate better cognitive preservation, lower dementia risk, and significantly longer disability-free lifespans. What makes this predictor particularly valuable is that it integrates multiple systems. It's not just about physical strength, but about how efficiently your brain processes spatial information and coordinates appropriate responses. Consider James and William, both 69-year-old retired engineers. James maintains an active lifestyle with varied activities, including dancing, hiking uneven trails, and playing with grandchildren. When he encounters an unexpected sidewalk crack or must suddenly step around someone, he smoothly adjusts his gait and immediately returns to his normal walking pattern without hesitation. William, while reasonably fit for his age, has gradually limited himself to predictable, controlled environments. When faced with unexpected terrain changes or when jostled in a crowd, he noticeably pauses, often grabbing support if available, and takes several cautious steps before resuming his normal pace. This difference reflects critical disparities in their neuromotor adaptation. James's smooth recovery demonstrates preserved neural pathways, effective vestibular function, and cognitive processing speed, all protective factors against falls and mobility limitation. William's hesitation suggests diminishing brain-body communication efficiency and reduced cognitive motor integration, which research has linked to earlier onset of mobility disability and decreased longevity. The promising aspect of gait resilience is that it responds remarkably well to varied movement challenges, even for individuals in their 80s. Unlike repetitive exercises that follow predictable patterns, activities that require constant adaptation provide the most benefit: walking on varied terrain, dancing, playing catch, or navigating obstacle courses. These activities stimulate neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to create new neural pathways and strengthen existing ones. Even simple home practices like changing direction while walking, stepping over objects, or walking while solving mental puzzles can significantly improve this capacity. Monitor your progress by noticing how confidently you navigate unfamiliar environments or recover from unexpected balance shifts. Improvements in this domain directly translate to extended independence and reduced fall risk, which is a primary determinant of long-term health outcomes after 65. Predictor 4. Sleep consolidation. The architecture of your sleep, particularly how continuously you sleep through the night without fragmentation, provides remarkable insight into your brain health and longevity potential. While total sleep duration receives much attention, research increasingly suggests that sleep consolidation, maintaining uninterrupted sleep cycles, may be even more predictive of cognitive preservation and longevity after 65. Studies tracking older adults have consistently found that those who maintain consolidated sleep patterns demonstrate better memory retention, lower inflammation markers, more effective immune function, and significantly lower rates of neurodegenerative disease. This correlation exists independent of total sleep time, suggesting that quality and continuity outweigh quantity when it comes to sleep's protective effects. Meet Margaret and Dorothy, both 71-year-old retired librarians. Margaret has maintained healthy sleep hygiene throughout her life. She sleeps through most nights with perhaps one brief awakening, falling back asleep within minutes. She wakes feeling refreshed and maintains clear thinking throughout her day. Dorothy, despite spending adequate time in bed, experiences fragmented sleep with multiple awakenings lasting 20 to 30 minutes each. She often feels unrested despite sufficient hours in bed and notices her concentration fading by mid-afternoon. These differences reflect crucial disparities in their brain's restorative processes. Margaret's consolidated sleep allows complete progression through sleep cycles, facilitating efficient metabolic waste clearance from brain tissue, memory consolidation, and cellular repair, all protective factors against cognitive decline. Dorothy's fragmented pattern disrupts these processes, particularly the critical slow wave and REM phases, which research has linked to accelerated brain aging, increased dementia risk, and shorter health-adjusted life expectancy. The encouraging news about sleep consolidation is that it can often be improved through consistent behavioral approaches. Regular sleep-wake schedules, evening light management, temperature optimization, and strategic timing of physical activity can significantly enhance sleep architecture, even for individuals with long-standing difficulties. Particular attention to reducing nighttime disruptions, from bathroom trips to environmental noise, often yields better results than focusing solely on falling asleep initially. Monitor your progress by noticing morning mental clarity and sustained afternoon energy, rather than just total hours slept. Improvements in sleep consolidation directly translate to enhanced cognitive protection, immune function, and metabolic health, all key contributors to longevity beyond 65. Predictor 5. Nutritional resilience. Your body's ability to efficiently extract and utilize nutrients from your food, what researchers call nutritional resilience, becomes increasingly predictive of health outcomes after 65. This capacity isn't simply about what you eat, but about how effectively your digestive system processes nutrients, how well your cells respond to those nutrients, and how adaptable your metabolism remains. Studies tracking older adults have found that those who maintain stable weight, good appetite, and efficient nutrient absorption demonstrate significantly better immunological function, wound healing, muscle preservation, and overall longevity compared to those experiencing unintended weight fluctuations or declining appetite, even when controlling for other health factors. Consider Charles and Robert, both 74-year-old retired professors. Charles has maintained consistent eating patterns throughout life, enjoys varied foods, and has preserved a steady weight within a 10-pound range for decades. He rarely experiences digestive discomfort and maintains good energy throughout his day. Robert has experienced gradual weight loss over several years, without trying, finds himself filling up quickly at meals, and increasingly limits his food choices due to new sensitivities. These differences reflect significant disparities in their nutritional processing. Charles's stable patterns indicate maintained digestive enzyme production, effective nutrient transport mechanisms, and preserved metabolic flexibility, all protective factors against frailty and disease progression. Robert's changes suggest declining digestive efficiency, possible microbiome alterations, and reduced metabolic adaptation capacity, which research has linked to accelerated functional decline, reduced treatment response, and shortened life expectancy even in the absence of diagnosed disease. The promising aspect of nutritional resilience is that it often responds positively to targeted strategies, even for individuals who have experienced decline. Protein timing and distribution throughout the day, strategic use of digestive supports when needed, and consistent meal patterning often yield better results than simply increasing calories or supplements. Particular attention to protein quality, micronutrient density, and fiber diversity supports the underlying mechanisms of nutrient processing beyond simple intake. Monitor your progress through energy stability, recovery from minor illnesses, and maintenance of muscle function rather than just scale weight. Improvements in nutritional resilience directly translate to cellular repair capacity, immune competence, and tissue integrity, fundamental components of health span extension. Predictor 6. Stress recovery rate. How quickly your body returns to baseline after experiencing stress, physiologically and psychologically, provides profound insight into your biological aging and longevity potential. This capacity, which researchers call stress recovery efficiency, encompasses cardiovascular recovery, hormonal rebalancing, and cognitive emotional regulation. Studies tracking adults beyond 65 have consistently found that those who demonstrate rapid return to baseline after stressors show lower inflammation markers, better cardiovascular health, preserved cognitive function, and significantly longer disability-free lifespan. What makes this predictor particularly valuable is that it reflects your integrated regulatory systems rather than isolated functions. Essentially, how well your body maintains homeostasis despite challenges. Meet Helen and Barbara, both 76-year-old retired business owners. Helen has developed effective stress management practices throughout life. When faced with unexpected challenges, from minor frustrations to significant worries, she acknowledges the stress, implements calming techniques, and returns to baseline functioning relatively quickly. Her blood pressure normalizes rapidly after elevation, and she rarely dwells in prolonged anxiety states. Barbara, despite similar exposure to life stresses, experiences more prolonged physiological and emotional responses. Minor irritations can disrupt her entire day. Her blood pressure remains elevated hours after stressful encounters, and she often revisits worries repeatedly. These differences reflect crucial disparities in their biological regulation. Helen's efficient recovery demonstrates preserved autonomic flexibility, effective cortisol regulation, and integrated emotional processing, all protective factors against accelerated cellular aging. Barbara's extended responses suggest autonomic rigidity, prolonged stress hormone exposure, and less efficient emotional regulation, which research has linked to accelerated telomere shortening, increased cardiovascular risk, and reduced longevity. The encouraging aspect of stress recovery efficiency is that it remains remarkably trainable even in advanced age. Heart rate variability biofeedback, specific breathing patterns, progressive relaxation, and mindfulness practices have demonstrated measurable improvements in recovery speed after stresses. These approaches directly influence autonomic nervous system function, improving the balance between sympathetic, activating, and parasympathetic, calming systems that govern stress response. Monitor your progress by noticing how quickly your breathing, heart rate, and emotional state normalize after minor stresses rather than trying to eliminate stress entirely. Improvements in recovery efficiency directly translate to reduced inflammation, preserved cardiovascular function, and neurological protection, all fundamental determinants of health trajectory after 65. Predictor 7. Social integration quality. The depth and reciprocity of your social connections, particularly those involving meaningful exchange and mutual support, serves as a powerful predictor of your longevity beyond 65. While social isolation has long been recognized as a health risk, recent research suggests that the quality and reciprocal nature of relationships may be even more significant than quantity when it comes to longevity benefits. Studies following older adults have consistently found that those who maintain reciprocal relationships where they both give and receive support show stronger immune function, better cognitive preservation, faster recovery from illness, and significantly longer active lifespans compared to those with either isolated or entirely dependent social patterns. This predictor's power likely stems from its influence across multiple physiological systems, from stress regulation to neurological stimulation. Consider Virginia and Catherine, both 78-year-old retired nurses. Virginia has cultivated deep, reciprocal relationships throughout life. She volunteers weekly at a community garden, participates in a book club where she both shares insights and learns from others, and regularly exchanges support with family and neighbors, sometimes receiving help, other times providing it. Catherine, while not completely isolated, has gradually shifted toward more passive social participation. She occasionally attends community events, but rarely contributes actively, receives assistance from family, but has few opportunities to offer support in return, and primarily engages with others through one-way media consumption. These differences reflect significant disparities in their social integration. Virginia's reciprocal engagement demonstrates multi-directional support systems, continued purpose fulfillment, and regular cognitive challenge through genuine exchange, all protective factors against accelerated aging. Catherine's increasingly passive patterns suggest diminishing social identity, reduced sense of purpose, and fewer opportunities for cognitive stimulation through meaningful exchange, which research has linked to accelerated functional decline and shortened expectancy even when controlling for baseline health status. The encouraging news about social integration quality is that meaningful improvements can occur at any age through even modest shifts in interaction patterns. Creating opportunities to contribute, regardless of physical limitations, often yields more significant benefits than simply increasing social contact. Particularly valuable are intergenerational connections, skill-sharing arrangements, and participation in groups with shared purpose, rather than merely shared circumstances. Monitor your progress by noticing the balance between giving and receiving in your relationships rather than just frequency of contact. Improvements in social integration quality directly translate to enhanced stress regulation, cognitive stimulation, and psychological well-being, all crucial components of resilience and longevity beyond 65. Now that we've explored these 7 powerful predictors, take a moment to reflect on your current status in each area. Perhaps you've recognized strengths that you've been cultivating without realizing their significance for your longevity. Or maybe you've identified areas where small, strategic changes could yield substantial benefits for your future health trajectory. The most empowering aspect of these predictors is that they're largely within your influence. They respond to consistent attention and targeted approaches regardless of your starting point. Your future isn't predetermined by your current age, genetics, or even existing health conditions. The choices you make today in movement, sleep, nutrition, stress management, and social engagement can significantly reshape your longevity landscape. If you've recognized areas for improvement, remember that the most sustainable approach is gradual integration rather than dramatic overhauls. Select one predictor that resonated most strongly with you and commit to small, consistent actions that strengthen that capacity. Perhaps it's practicing chair rises without hand support during television commercials, or establishing a wind-down routine that promotes sleep consolidation, or creating one new opportunity each week to contribute meaningfully to others. The consistency of your approach matters more than its intensity. Neural pathways, physiological systems, and behavioral patterns respond more favorably to regular small inputs than occasional major efforts. Thank you for joining this exploration of longevity predictors. We'd be genuinely interested to hear which of these 7 areas resonated most strongly with your experience or surprised you with its significance. What's one insight from today's discussion that you'll be implementing in your own life? Your perspective enriches our collective understanding, and many others in our community might benefit from your reflections. If you found value in these evidence-based approaches to longevity, consider subscribing to our channel and joining this community of individuals committed to vibrant, extended health span. Your engagement, from thoughtful comments to simple likes, helps these science-based perspectives reach others who might benefit from them. Until our next conversation, remember that longevity isn't primarily inherited. It's cultivated through the small choices we make each day.